Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. You know we talking boxing, so we talking Byron. We got Byron the man on here schooling all y'all on this boxing thing. Before we get into the show, make sure you go to Spectator Sporting YouTube page, subscribe, like, comment, keep running those comments up on TikTok. And if you ride in your car, go ahead and turn that Spotify. We on there too. In a big-time WBO Welterweight title fight, Devin The Dream Haney defeated Brian Norman by unanimous decision, becoming a 3-division champion. Haney set the tone early with a second-round knockdown and used his jab to control the fight. Devin Haney improves to 33-0, 15 knockouts. Norman suffers his first loss, falling to 28-1 with 22 knockouts. Byron, it looks like Devin Haney has put the boxing world back on notice. Talk to me about this fight.
He never stopped putting the boxing world on notice. At this point, I understand that many of you are very casual fans of the sport. You really don't know shit. Come to the comment section, you give your predictions, but your predictions are based on asinine assumptions. They really don't have any facts behind them. Yes, I'm spending this entire segment talking bad about you because I don't know how you can look at this fight, look at the body of work of both fighters, even though this is two legit champion level fighters, and not see that Devin Haney was just the better fighter. He was levels above Brian Norman Jr. He had a resume that rated him for anything that this man did in the ring. Aesthetically, he looked bigger than him. So I don't understand these so-called analysts who are Hall of Famers who don't know shit. Shout out to Tim Bradley, who come on here and give an opinion that has been bought and sell it to the public. No, this is not an opinion that is bought. This is actual factual. Devin Haney didn't just appear. He has literally spent the entirety of his career pushing himself toward greatness, going into new divisions, challenging the top guy, not going after cupcake fights. This is exactly who he is, and I love the fact that he was able to do it on this stage and shut up a couple haters for now, because I'm telling you, it's something about this hate Haney bandwagon. You bastards are not going away. You'll still be here for some time, and I will be glad to take your money and take your self-respect as I pick you wrong in every fight that this man has, because this was not a hard fight to pick for me. He did everything that I thought he would do in the ring. I thought Brian Norman Jr. faced a fighter that he has never seen in his professional career. Yeah. A guy who could outbox him, a guy who his offense could do nothing to. Brian Norman threw 399 shots and landed 59 in a connect rate of 14.8%.
That's crazy.
Like, that is bad. It looked bad, it was bad, and like Devin told him in the build-up, levels. It's levels in this shit. And Devin Haney is levels over Brian Norman Jr.
Definitely. Devin Haney was terrific. You know, great fight. He showed himself. What's your thoughts on this fight?
Well, Devin Haney took control very early in this fight. In the second round, a nice check hook rattled Brian Norman Jr. Then a Devin Haney left-right hook combination dropped Brian Norman Jr. in the second round of this fight. And it looked like Devin Haney was going for the kill. He had 10 consecutive fights without a knockout victory. It looked like he was trying to end that streak, but Brian Norman Jr., he survived that second round. The third round, he was just surviving. Yeah. And Brian Norman Jr. didn't make it seem like he was going to be a threat to Devin Haney until round 6. Because it just looked like he was about to. I was like, man, is this man finna get knocked out or what, right? But Devin Haney, his jab, movement, and 1-2s. I mean, Devin Haney got a nice 1-2. He gets you that left-right and stun you, and he pretty much stopped Brian Norman in his tracks as he's tried to close the distance. Devin Haney looked much bigger and taller than Brian.
It was a lot stronger on the inside.
Yeah, it looked, but it's, tails of the tape is there evenly, but that jab was just pretty long for Devin Haney. He kept Brian Norman Jr. at bay as Brian Norman Jr., he was being too much of an easy target by Devin Haney by not moving his head. He was not keeping his head off the center line, and he wasn't going to the body, and you know, so he definitely need to work on head movement. And the most disappointing part about the Brian Norman Jr. performance was how he handled Devin Haney's excessive clinching. Okay, now if you look at David Benavidez, when Anthony Yarde was clinching him, what did David Benavidez do? He started punching the hell out of him to get out the clinch.
Right.
Brian Norman Jr., that was his opportunity to, because it's hard to close the distance against this guy. So once he start holding you and grab you, punch out of it. Don't wait for the ref to get out of the clinch.
And Haney actually landed more in the clinches than he did.
Yeah,
and he was initiating them and going to dirty boxing.
That was the most disappointing part, because when Norman got close, that's what he needed to do. Get in close, and then Haney would grab him, and that's when he should have started going at him, punching out of the clinch. But he didn't do it. He failed to do that. He needed to learn that. So now Devin Haney is the new WBO Welterweight Champion of the world.
Yeah, dog, that's excellent. So now the question remains, shout out to Brian Norman Jr. This is,
shout out to him.
Yeah, this is
shout out to him for taking the fight, and this is going to make him better. He's going to be a better fighter after.
This could come back around. Who never know? You never know. But now that Devin Haney's in the 147 division, he's got the belt out of him.
Yes.
What's next for Devin Haney? What do you want to see from Devin Haney?
Well, Devin and Bill Haney has said they want revenge versus King Ryan Garcia. They have said this. And the WBC champion Mario Barrios has signed up to fight Ryan Garcia in late February. Okay, so they're gonna make it happen. And somehow Mario Barrios, he also just keep getting big fights. Ryan Garcia keep getting big fights, and Mario Barrios keep getting big fights. Barrios fought Tank Davis, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. Now it's gonna be Ryan Garcia. Okay, but Ryan Garcia, get Bill and Devin Haney out of your mind. Get them out. Don't even think about those guys. Just think about Mario Barrios. That's it. Don't tweet at Bill Haney and them. Forget about it. Because that's probably what happened to him against Rolly Romero. You thinking about Bill Haney, you talking about Haney, you finna fight Rolly Romero. Forget them. You know what I'm saying? And so now, if Ryan Garcia loses to Mario Barrios, there's another guy who called out Devin Haney after his last fight. This is the 140-pound IBF champion, Richardson Hitchens, okay, from Brooklyn. And the Haneys, they're not going back down to 140. So Richardson Hitchens will have to come up to 147. Hitchens is talking a lot of smack on social media, saying he wants Devin Haney. I thought after his fight against George Kambosos that Hitchens was going to call out Teofimo Lopez, who was at the fight, but no, he wants the Haney. So he will have to come up to 147. He's long, he's tall, he's longer and taller than Devin Haney. And out of all the fighters at 140 and 147, I believe Richardson Hitchens will have the best shot at beating Devin Haney. So those are a couple of guys that...
And Haney has to lose because Adi is tired of losing.
So what should Haney do next, Brian? And from you, now that you say you've been telling that, you've been putting the word, you've been telling us about Haney now. Now Haney really showed himself, and I think he kind of, because it's looking like you brought up King Rye, but since the King Rye situation, Devin Haney's 2-0.
King is a lie.
King Rye's 0-1, and Devin Haney now moved up the division. Now he's a 3-time division champ. So was the cheating? I don't know, but what's next for Haney?
Listen, if I'm Devin Haney right now, you in the driver's seat. It's nothing but shit. In the 147-pound division, you have the King Lie, who, after getting his ass whooped by Rolly Romero, let's go ahead and put that in there. Now is gifted yet another championship opportunity and fighting probably one of the most boring, all the shade that you guys throw to Devin Haney actually should be shown to Mario Barrios. Like, this dude, his activity is criminal. It's criminal how he goes through fights, and yet his name is in the conversation for all of the big fights at 147. God knows why. And then on the other side of that, you have Rolly Romero. Who is he gonna fight? Is
he gonna fight Manny Pacquiao?
Nobody. At the moment, we don't know who he's gonna fight.
Yeah.
neither one of these fights, I think, as it relates to 147, I think Devin Haney wants the King live fight. Of course, he wants redemption. I don't feel like you should give an opportunity to a cheater, but I'm not that man. He can do what he wants to. But I think the best opportunity to get for Devin Haney is to go up to 154 and get the guy who ducked the guy who you just smoked. And that is one Crocs Ennis, who is supported and managed by one of the worst managers in boxing, Eddie, I can't make the big fight, Hearns, who actually was in attendance last night. And I wanted to bring up this Conor Benn situation. As he brings up Conor Benn, brings him out. Who cares about Conor Benn? Who knows about Conor Benn? Conor Benn has 2 names on his entire resume, Chris Algieri and Chris Eubank. And outside of that, you don't know who this clown has fought. Yet, he has put himself in the conversation at 147 and announced that Rolly Romero or Ryan Garcia would be better opponents. So it shows you the type of shit opponents that he's looking for, to match the shit performance that he does in the boxing ring. Yeah. They don't want to get the guy who they can't beat. They don't want to they want to take these fighters that are greater than them and then basically use social media to tell those guys how to fight them. And that's what these fighters do to Devin Haney. Yeah. Don't box us, don't move around the ring because you can make us look stupid and we can't hit you. And we'll have 14% connect rates and we'll lose decisions. And so the thing is, if Devin Haney wants to push himself, I would go after Crocs because Crocs doesn't have an opponent. They will not have the Virgil Ortiz fight like Eddie Hearn promised. And I think that Devin Haney believes that he can beat Crocs Ennis. Right. And as good as he looked at 147, I think 154 isn't out of the realm of possibility. Now, to go back to what Adi said, he kind of stole. I think he kind of looked at my notes. Hitchens is a very dangerous opponent for Devin Haney. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree that Hitchens can beat Devin Haney because that jab that he produced against Kambosa can beat everybody at 140 and 147. I don't see anybody standing up to that for 12 rounds. And so I would love to see him to stop all the talking. And if you're not going to do anything relevant at 140, stake your claim to 147 and make a fight with Rolly Romero. If he doesn't have a dance partner, let's get it cracking. Let's get belts.
You talking about
let's get belts.
Haney versus Rolly?
No, I'm talking about Hitchens versus Rolly. I'm talking about moving up from 140, coming to 147, getting the belt, and then announcing to Devin that, hey, I wanna step up to the plate. But for Hitchens, my only problem with him is, yes, you're a champion, but you got Teofimo Lopez, who's fighting a guy from 135, who was in the ring with you when you won your championship. So, man, I'm tired of these guys that's doing all this talking, but when it comes to the product in the ring, what the fights that they make, it never matches. And for Devin Haney, all you haters of Haney, this is all he does. He makes these good fights, these relevant fights that we have to talk about and we have to put him in the conversation, and all he does is win.
Yeah, well, the record says he's telling the truth. 33-0, 15 knockouts. I mean, three division winner. You want to say somebody?
Yeah. Shout out to Osterman.
Well, the welterweight IBF champ from the UK, Lewis Crocker, 22-0. I believe he's going to go after Conor Benn. He called out Conor Benn, and so I believe they will fight for the IBF belt. That's something that can happen.
But I'm talking about the bullshit that he was woofing Saturday night. I thought it was super disrespectful, especially on DAZN, which is a network that Haney does not get a fair shake. He's had biased commentary, with the exception of last night. I think last night was the only time I've ever watched a Haney fight on DAZN, and it wasn't biased commentary. But he comes out and he's announcing and naming these opponents at 147. Like, he's looking at Rolly, he's looking at Garcia, he's looking at Haney, but Haney's too boring. But the thing is, Haney just beat the most relevant guy at 147. Yeah. Call him out. If what he does is so easy and so easy to move around, get him in the ring and do it. Like, this guy's undefeated. And it speaks to the stupidity of Eddie Hearn. And this is why he can't get and land big fights. Because he sits on these platforms, he trashes probably the best financial opportunity you have at 147, so you can go fight an easier fight, which is Rolly Romero, which is Ryan Garcia, and the hamster wheel rolls on. But you can see it as plain as day. Fuck Eddie Hearn and Conor Ben. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and Eddie Hearn manages Boots Ennis as well, and I can see Boots Ennis going after a basketball Roseanne Desires. They're having a unification fight at 154.
Right.
I don't see Boots going after Devin Haney.
Right, but the thing is, if he doesn't get the Virgil Ortiz fight,
right?
If he doesn't, and it depends on which way. If Virgil goes Zayas, you think Zayas is gonna pick Eddie Hearn over Oscar De La Hoya? I don't think so. I think he works for Oscar before them. Right. So it really depends on what direction, but it's leaning toward where we might see Ortiz versus Spence at AT&T, and that's gonna be what it is.
So you brought it up. So what about Brian Norman Jr.? You know, first, I mean, he is a champion. He was a champion. Devin Haney, like you said, showed that he got a little more work to do. What's next for Brian Norman?
Brian Norman Jr., this is a good loss. And the reason why I say it's a good loss is because at this point in his career, he has the time, the space, and the opportunity to advance his game. The power is there. And now he needs to just learn how to cut off the ring, learn to take his head off a straight line to become a harder, more difficult target. Establish your jab. You need a lot better jab. Set up your power shots because you're not going to always run into that opponent who's just going to run into your big shots. You're going to run into these elite boxers and you're going to need to cut off the ring. You're going to need to set up your big shots. I don't have any doubt in my mind that we will hear Brian Norman Jr.'s name again at 147, a champion again at 147, and relevant again at 147. He seemed fired up. He did this loss. He wasn't hanging his head. He said, listen, I'm going to be better and I'm going to come back, and I believe him.
What about you, Ryder? What you feeling about Brian Norman? What's next for him, you think? Maybe is it a fight out there he need to take, or what's up with Brian Norman for you?
Yeah, I don't think he was prepared for how sharp Devin Haney's jab was going to be. Mm-hmm. And Brian Norman Jr., he must work on his head movement and connecting on more body shots. He connected on 22 body shots in this fight, and fighting out the clinch. A lot of guys are going to want to hold because they don't want that power. Yeah, so they're going to want to hold.
They're not going to just let you sit and tee off.
Right. So you got to be like, look at David Benavidez once again. Like, learn how to fight out the clinch. You know what I'm saying? Can score some shots before that rep come in now. You know, and he just turned 25 years old, so he has a lot to work on, a lot to learn, and he needs a more effective jab. Okay, he was throwing it out there, but it wasn't effective. It really wasn't bothering Haney when he was throwing that jab out there. It wasn't connected with it enough. He only connected on 12% of his jabs in that fight. Now, what will the champ, the WBA champ, Rolly Romero, do? Is he about to fight Manny Pacquiao? We don't know. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen with Rolly Romero. It's not going to be a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is about to fight Mario Barrios. So, hey, go after his belt. Go after Rolly Romero's WBA belt. Rolly versus Brian Norman Jr. That should be a banger right there.
And if you work on head movement, that's a fight you can definitely win.
Yeah. So Rolly versus Brian Norman Jr., that'd be a nice fight to see in the spring. So I would say take a break, reflect, then get back to training camp and learn from the loss. It's definitely some things he can tweak and be champion.
And I would actually like to see him fight a tune-up fight. I wouldn't want him to jump right back into the championship conversation. You know, again, that's going to be more of a lucrative opportunity, so I'm not going to tell that man to take less money, but I would like to see him, do it in the gym and then get in the ring and then put it together in the ring and then go after a belt, because one of these guys are going to have a belt. Mario Barrios, notorious for ducking smoke. So I think one of those guys are still going to end up with a belt at the end of the day, and so you can get them fourth quarter 2026.
Yeah. Karen Chukajan is like a contender that he can fight in. Chukajan likes to move around. He can change his styles up. That'd be a good guy to get in the ring with.
But this could be one of those fights where he looked back on it like, I'm glad I had that fight.
It's a good loss.
It could be one of these losses that help you in his future career. 28-1, 22 knockouts. And you've been watching Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wiley. Shout out to Byron. Make sure y'all go on YouTube, Spectator Sporting page. Like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate all the love and all the hate y'all give us. Make sure you go on TikTok. Keep running it up, man. Keep commenting on there. And if you're in the car, go ahead, turn on that Spotify. In the meantime, in between time, we out. Peace.